So, it's already been over half a year since My Little Pony Friendship is Magic ended, and while we oh so patiently wait for whatever comes next, I thought it would be fun to look back at the many villains we've seen throughout the years and rate them from worst to best. Not counting the ones that only appeared in one regular episode and the ones that appeared in the comics. Which one was your favorite and why? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alright, so let's start with what I believe is the bottom of the barrel. And for me, that is the Storm King. This guy just had nothing particularly noteworthy going on. I mean, come on! We all know Tempest Shadow was the one that stole the spot in this movie, and not this guy. Aside from just being very forgettable, there wasn't a whole lot going on with this guy to begin with. Where was he from? What were his actual motives? Why was he even called the Storm King if he couldn't control any storms before? He overall just struck me as very bland, who's just evil for the sake of being evil. Though, I do have to admit his whole death scene was pretty rad. At number 13, just a little step higher, is Stygian. These episodes were so utterly bizarre to me when I first watched them. Star Swirl, this supposedly genius unicorn, didn't even bother asking this kid that was supposed to be his friend what he was doing with the artifacts, and he just straight up cast him out instantly? Man, no wonder he couldn't finish that one friendship spell. Aside from the whole misunderstanding, I couldn't help but feel like this kid's evil form was just too edgy. The whole use of the word darkness generally had me laughing out loud during some scenes, since it just sounded like a 13-year-old's fanfiction at times. It made it very hard to take serious, though I admit the defeat was quite satisfying with Starlight being involved and all. At number 12 is the one and only plant gal, Gloriosa. This lady's under money stress and is worried about Filthy Rich buying out her dearly beloved camp to start his little resort. So what does she do? Duh, she uses magical powers to trap the entire camp and its campers in a ball of vines so no one can get in or out. That will save the place, right? Yeah, not really. While I love the way this movie introduced a mysterious seventh element for Sunset, it couldn't help but feel a bit confusing with how Gloriosa thought that some magical rocks that gave her superpowers would help her situation much. But yeah, I guess she was stressed and desperate, and we all do weird things under stress. Also, can we talk about that whole sunset element? I mean, I knew there was one when she helped defeating the Daslinks, but seeing it physically there, around her neck? Come on, I just want to know what it is! And that brings us to the next one on this list. Number 11, the Daslinks. Now, alright, I'll admit these guys have amazing designs. And I really do love the concept of free sirens coming into the human world and adapting to its rules and ways. But man, they were so underused, especially the two side characters. Despite being, sirens, they didn't really strike me as pure evil, but more like we're beings who are made to act like this, so we will act like this. And again, I was a bit confused by their end goal. Did they want to rule the human world by singing and creating an army? Or did they want to go back to Equestria and bring their army along, similar to Sunset? I did enjoy how they got power from people fighting and producing what looked like cartoon farts. But again, I really wish they did more with these three. Especially the Taco Girl. She's a cutie patootie. Next up at number 10 is the very tiny but still very evil Cozy Glow. Now put down your pitchforks, I don't blame ya if you like this gal. I just really couldn't vibe with her overly evil character. I just found myself wishing she had some kind of reason to be as evil as she was. But I guess she was just a born psychopath. Or maybe I just get too annoyed with overly manipulative villains because I can't help but see the characters they're tricking and think, man, come on, how can you not see this girl's faker than an air guitar? And number 9 is our edgelord and stairmaster, King Sombra. Man, when first watching this episode all the way back when it released, I remember the hilarious responses to his design, since my god, he felt weirdly out of place. But despite not having much screen time or dialogue, he still really felt like a genuinely threatening villain that had more to him than you would think. I personally love the contrast between his dark crystals and the good ones like the Crystal Heart. All that, compared with the mysterious story of the Crystal Empire as a whole, really strike me as a very interesting package. Plus, his original defeat was quite a blast. Next up, at number 8, is the short-lived but very beloved Midnight Sparkle. Sure, her design wasn't the most eye-pleasing, but the concept of Twilight being corrupted, even in human form, was very intriguing to see. Instead of properly coming to the realization of what friendship magic is, she collected it accidentally against the main six's will, and got exposed to it without a clue what was going on, resulting in a Twilight that's just as powerful as the normal one, but with the first foreknowledge she had in the very start of the show, with an evil twist. If it wasn't for Spike distracting her, she also would have won from Sunset, as she's still the element of magic, even in the human world. Speaking of Sunset, man, I really love her design in this scene. On number 7 is the unicorn with the broken horn, Tempest Shadow, or Fizzlepop Berry Twist, whatever you want to refer to her. This badass lady absolutely stole the show in the My Little Pony movie, and man did I love her backstory and redemption. I wish we got more content of her adjusting to normal pony life, but since popular voice actors are expensive, I guess I'm happy with what we got. Next up, at number 6, is Starlight Glimmer. Seeing her lovely character now, it's hard to put her next to the villain character she first appeared as. Starlight was a very interesting villain. It's not like she wanted an army, or slaves, or magic power, or anything like that. She just wanted a place where everyone was equal, so no one would leave her or anyone else because of a cutie mark. Obviously, the idea was not great, and her motives when revealed in the finale got a lot of people facepalming. But man, a unicorn with a magic level similar to Twilight fighting her off with lasers? Sign me up. Speaking of unicorns, next up at number 5 is Sunset Shimmer. Man, similar to Starlight, this gal has come a long way. Remember when the first Equestria Girls movie came out that no one asked for, and then afterwards everyone just kind of collectively went, yeah, maybe that wasn't so bad. Well, I definitely think this bacon-haired human played a huge role in that. I mean, man, Celestia's previous pupil becomes evil and steals the most important item belonging to the new one? Gosh, I loved it. I still think Sunset and Twilight are these opposites, similar to Luna and Celestia. And man, do I wish they kept the original plot for the Friendship Games movie, because hello, Sunset clearly doesn't belong in the human world, and she really should get back to where she belongs before she, I don't know, bumps into her other human half and is forced to realize she's not supposed to be there. Sorry, getting a bit sidetracked. At number 4, we've got the big buff monster man, Tirek. Something about this guy's design and backstory really got me when I first watched this episode. But then again, I think the reason this guy stuck with me so much is because of that amazing fight scene. I remember showing this fight to a bunch of my friends, trying to convince them to check out the show because yeah, it was that good. Plus, he had pretty cool powers that felt fresh and original. I wish we could have seen more of his homeland somehow. At number 3, we have the OG. Nightmare Moon. Of course I can't do the Princess of the Night dirty. She was the first villain and gave me a great first impression of the series. The bat-like design, the mystery of her being Celestia's sister, and man, after the flashback sequence in season 4 with Luna's whole transformation, I honestly just started loving her more. This idea of Luna's bitterness taking on the form of an evil version of her is great, and I love the callback she gets throughout the rest of the show. At this point, she really is iconic. At number 2 is the Cheese Hole Legs Bug Princess, Queen Chrysalis. This queen stayed evil through and through till the very end, and man, she was a badass while doing it. Her debut in Season 2 was an amazing introduction, and still one of my favorite episodes to this day. She lost to the main 6 multiple times and even lost her entire hive in the process, but still, she just kept on going. Even in her final moments, she still tried to strike, instead of cowering in fear like her 2 teammates did. So long, Cheese Leg Queen. And finally, at number 1, the only, come on, you knew it was coming, Discord. Redeemed or not, this crazy mixture of animals is one of the best characters in the show by far. From the visual gags to the voice actor, every aspect of this guy felt perfect. I enjoyed every scene this guy was in, and I'm so glad they redeemed him later on and paired him up with Fluttershy because man, they make an amazing duo. Too bad they didn't have some kind of crazy hybrid child at the end of the show, but it's understandable. So, do you agree with my list? And if not, what changes would you make? Do let me know in the comments down below. Also, check out my Discord server for some inside looks or just to have a chat with me and my friends. I would love to see you there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!